Welcome, everybody, to Be Kind to Rewind with Ruckus, your only nostalgia-based show where we invite pro wrestlers, athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, notable personalities to come on and talk all things nostalgia, movies, toys, games, and music. I'm your host, Mikey Ruckus. Joining me to my right is Keeping It Will. Keeping It Will, how you feeling this week?
I'm just here so I don't get sued. That's all.
That's right. And I have litigation papers already prepped up. But I digress. Joining us this week is a very special guest. We call him the Reverend himself, Mr. Ryzin. Ryzin, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm sensational. So thank you for having me.
Love it.
I'm so excited to be here.
Man, we are happy to have you here.
Very
guys,
excited to have you.
We're going to jump right into it. So Ryzin has chosen a very special movie that's near and dear to him. The 1985 film starring Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf, the story of a young boy who is a werewolf. Ryzin, tell us what made you choose Teen Wolf.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. It really is a coming of age story when you really think about it. So it's, when he's a teenager, he's going through, all the different things that you go through in high school, bullying, not fitting in, all of those things. And then, of course, I think that in some way it's an analogy for puberty in a lot of ways. And so he's starting to have changes, whether with his voice or otherwise, and he thinks they're just hormonal or what have you, then ultimately finding out that he is in fact a wolf. It's absolutely amazing. And it really hit me at a time in my youth, in my childhood, where the effects, I'm a big sucker for practical effects when it comes to movies. Even today, if you can do a movie with practical effects, I think that you are leaps and bounds ahead of most of these that do like CGI and digital. So I had not seen like an American Werewolf of London or anything like that. So just watching that transformation of Michael J. Fox was absolutely epic to me. But overall, I think that it's amazing. I still bang out that soundtrack all the time, even though I don't think that there's one song on there that is actually a hit, except for they must have blown their entire budget on the Beach Boys song for the band surfing scene. But other than that, I think that the songs are well done. The casting was well done. And I actually know a lot of history on it, kind of useless knowledge, but
well, speaking of fountain of misinformation and useless knowledge, Keeping It Will, how did you feel about Teen Wolf?
When this came out, right, like it was a pretty big deal. And I did enjoy it. I did go to the movie theater to see this movie. I liked it. I don't know if it doesn't really necessarily hold up for me long term, but I didn't have a great passion for the movie to begin with. I loved it as a kid, don't get me wrong, but I think some of it had to do with Back to the Future as well, right? Because that took such a presence over this one, right? Yeah. And it was such a strong movie. I mean, even to the fact you said you had a lot of knowledge about this movie. Like I think Michael J. Fox was once quoted as saying that Steven Spielberg's down the street making great movies, but he was filming Back to the Future beginning of it because he wasn't part of that. And I'm here playing a werewolf, right? Now, oddly enough, and not to jump on the sequel, but I'm a huge Jason Bateman fan.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, yeah.
Jason Bateman is great. That movie, not.
There's something about Bateman in anything he's in. So I kind of dug that, right? But I'll be honest with you. I think for me to go back and watch this again, it was kind of neat to go back to, like, I think I blocked a lot of this movie out because of Back to the Future. So go back to watch it again. It was almost like watching it brand new again. Different, unique. It's not a super hold up movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So a couple of quick things just to piggyback on that. Boof's house, the girl that really liked Michael J. Fox, that is actually also Lorraine's house in Back to the Future. So they were actually filming on the same street, but Eric Stoltz was actually still playing Marty McFly. And that's to reference what you just said. Michael J. Fox was playing a wolf and was like, that's the kind of movie that I should be in, the sci-fi thriller by Steven Spielberg, not this crap that I'm doing. And then lo and behold, fast forward, obviously he ended up getting Marty McFly. So that's just one of those weird useless knowledge kind of
coincidences. How they were what, 8 weeks in Back to the Future before they fired Eric Stoltz, and then they brought him in. Now, do you know if they watched any dailies from this movie to get him into Back to the Future?
I mean, you could only imagine that they probably did, considering the characters are actually very similar. They didn't change the character around too much. So what you get at Marty McFly actually is very similar to what you get in Teen Wolf. And just because they were in similar sets, I could only imagine that is something that they were reviewing as they brought him in.
How old were you when you first saw this movie? Do you remember?
I was young, but I wasn't even born when it actually came out. I was born a year later, February of '86. But I must have probably seen it early on, maybe 5 or 6, at least to where I can remember it, because I do remember there actually were a couple of scenes that I look back on and it's kind of funny. But like when he growls, when he jumps out as the wolf the first time in the basketball game, that actually scared me a little bit. The growl and the snarl actually. And also the drama of him changing was actually, as I said, very well done. It sticks out a lot in my head. And that is one of those that I remember being around that age where it kind of scared me. But I could also tell it was a comedy. It wasn't really a horror. So it's, kind of a thing like that.
What about you, Ruckus? What do you remember this movie from watching it again? Did you watch it? First of all, did you watch it?
I did watch it again. I've watched it a million times. I watched it again today.
A million times?
I've watched it a million times.
Wow.
10 million times. So,
10 million?
Yeah, 10 million.
I digest. Keep going.
So there was a couple things that as watching it as a kid, the only real thing that I had experienced in terms of like werewolf conversion at the time was when John Landis did Michael Jackson's Thriller. And when he was turning in the video, that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I wasn't allowed to see American Werewolf in London because I was younger. My parents were fairly strict, but seeing Michael J. Fox turn into a werewolf kind of made it cool. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't as scary as it was like Michael Jackson, but at the same time, it was kind of like he was the lovable guy. He was the cool guy who was kind of quirky. The movie was all about acceptance. I thought one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when the old man is telling him he can't get the beer, and can't you get that through your thick skull? And he was like, give me a keg of beer. The eyes and everything. And I used to run around the playground and like kids just playing, and I would just be like, give me a keg of beer. As a kid, yes, that was the coolest thing. Yes.
It was.
That's so funny.
It was. It was super cool. So, and then
go back and watch the trailer. They must not have finished it until later. If you go back and watch the trailer, he sounds like a robot. Like, give me a keg of beer, and they tried to make it.
They fixed that in post. Yeah.
So, I actually watched American Werewolf in London as a kid, right? So I got to see that and The Howling. Right. So by the time I got to that, it was kind of like that scariness for me was gone. Right. But it was more of the novelty of it. Right. Especially being Michael J. Fox was a pretty big star, even when he came out with this because of Family Ties,
because of Family Ties. Yeah.
Every kid loved Family Ties growing up. Right. How did you not love that TV show?
Sure.
Definitely.
So I didn't hearing you guys both talk about it, especially with you seeing it after many years of it being out and being younger, I think that would kind of make sense and have a different impact in that regard. Adverse to me, like where I was just kind of rolling as a 5-year-old watching, American Werewolf in London, which by the way, have you seen American Werewolf in London now?
I still haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Ryzin, have you seen it?
I have seen it. Yes.
Did you like it?
It ages a little, but like, again, the practical effects are incredible. The way that the brow and everything come through, it looks very real. That part, it looks very real, even though it hasn't aged, as gracefully as some other movies with practical effects, but still amazing.
And Ruckus is still not allowed to watch.
No.
any scary movies to this
My
day.
mama said no.
Yeah, his mama said no, and he can't play the foosball.
They filmed that whole movie, though. What's pretty impressive about Teen Wolf is they filmed that entire movie in 21 days. And the only reason that they were able to do it within those 21 days is because Family Ties was on a little hiatus because I can't remember her name now, but one of the actresses was
Justine Bateman?
I don't know, but one of them was
it's Tina Yothers was the youngest one.
Whichever one of them was having a baby. That's all.
Justine Bateman.
Justine Bateman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was having a baby. So they had that little break. So when I look back on it now with the knowledge that I have, I think it is pretty impressive that they knocked all of that out in 21 days.
Oh yeah.
Especially I do these like little kind of indie, films for my professional wrestling, and the insane amount of time that it goes into making a 2-minute clip.
Yeah.
Is insanity compared
lighting
to what
and
these
everything
guys
like
must
that.
do.
And major movie studios,
Absolutely.
any way that they can save money and production time and get as much as they can in the span of a day, they'll do it. So,
Are there any videos of you turning into a wolf? Any of your videos?
Not yet, but it's on my to-do.
Okay, we should expect. Oh, I just
It's on the
spoilers. I'm
to-do
sorry.
list.
That's my fault.
No. How do I do practical effects like that? I need to hire some kind of makeup artist that excels in that kind of thing. I wouldn't be opposed.
Yeah, AI might be. It might be more possible in the next 2 years with AI and everything like that.
Yeah, probably. But again, nothing beats a practical effect.
Ain't that the truth?
Absolutely.
Ain't that the
he's going to start like peeling his face away like while we're talking, and
that would have been.
This is AI.
Oh, that is amazing. So, was this one of your favorite movies growing up as a kid? Of I guess to say the '90s, right? We'd say the '90s for you.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s, all the, I really caught the wave, I think, in early 86. I think I caught just about everything that was hip in pop culture. I had, I had every He-Man action figure, G.I. Joe action figure. The reason why professional wrestling captivated me is I was obsessed from basically birth because I was right in the era of Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, all the colorful bright characters, Hasbro toys, everything. So
you had the boom.
The what?
The boom. Like when it really just.
Oh, the boom.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I hit that boom just right. So the movie, as I said, it just stands up to me because I also liked Back to the Future. So really just anything that and I liked Family Ties. So pretty much anything that Michael J. Fox was a part of, I was consuming, at a young age, I assume. So.
What about the Back to the Future series? Were they pretty big on your list?
They're amazing. They still, I don't know where I would rank them. I mean, they're in my top 100 films. I don't know that. I mean, they're definitely amazing. So there's no way that you could discredit the power and strength of Back to the Future.
Power of love.
That's right.
We'll get to that in a second, gentlemen. But with the reason I asked that, right, and I want both of you to answer this, right, is that you look at it, right, and Back to the Future is just universally loved, and many people say it's their favorite movie, right? But I think that's the great thing about movies is that different movies can resonate with people on different levels. Where you look at Teen Wolf, which was a really big blockbuster film back in that day, right? They
were actually shocked. They thought it was going to be a failure, but they actually moved it back a year to come out after Back to the Future.
Correct.
So yeah, that's it's amazing that they had had the forethought to do that. Yeah.
But it's amazing how, like, you take movies, right? And then it's this Teen Wolf resonate with you so well that it's over the years, it stayed with you where, like, because I asked you about Back to the Future for a reason, because you can see it in your face, like, yeah, I like them, but, Teen Wolf holds a better special place in your heart, which I think that's kind of neat. That's what makes movies so great, is that it doesn't have to be universally what everyone wants. It's what makes us feel good and how we watch it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and still so near and dear to my heart that when I was 21 or maybe 22, and I just sent Mikey this, but I was Teen Wolf for Halloween.
Ooh.
And yeah.
I have the picture. It's going to be displayed when we air this episode. But yes,
perfect.
He was
so boom,
as
you will
Teen
see
Wolf.
it, right?
Right there, right here, right there.
One of those places.
Somewhere around here, you'll see it.
Right
but
down there.
I was I wanted to do it my whole life. And again, going back to like, I was actually at an age where I could kind of put together these effects for myself. And I think I did an amazing job. That was all kind of like secondhand stuff, believe it or not. And so I think you'll find that that is quite impressive. But that's how big of an impact that movie had on me. And the costume was good enough that it made $1,000 at the local bar in Colorado. So, yep, number one, you know, I won first place that night. So.
What year was
and I think that's because it hit nostalgia with the audience as well. So I was playing to my audience that night. I had a basketball, took pictures with everybody. And so it really like, oh my gosh, like that's Teen Wolf. And
yeah, an amazing co-host would have sent me that picture so I could have it and react to it. But I guess he was too busy or something. I don't know. But the
only one that was you.
Ain't that the truth? So I think that's amazing, though, that just pop culture in general, especially retro and things from way in the past when we were younger, how that affects us. Ruckus, did you ever dress up as Teen Wolf?
I did not.
Were you allowed to go for Halloween?
Yeah, of course. I remember my earliest memory of trick-or-treating, we had to go, I used to be a part of the Hopewell Boys Club. It's where all the poor kids went to do like all these activities like playing basketball and go swimming and whatnot and go to haunted houses. Trick-or-treating one year for Halloween, my mom dressed me up as a hobo where she basically gave me all of my dad's clothes and put pillows in like the front of my dress shirt. She took her cigarette ashes from her Virginia Slims ashtray and rubbed them all over my face for dirt.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was not a fun evening.
I feel like I was a hobo too in my young years. I feel like my parents did a similar thing, man. But like I had a little stick and they kind of tied some of my old dirty laundry to the end. Oh my gosh. But I don't know, even though they were both heavy smokers, I don't remember them covering me in ash, but I wouldn't put it past them.
I told her, I was like, can't I just go outside and like put some dirt? She's like, no, Michael, come over here. And she did, did like this. And then she put I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's not what I was referring to, but I should have known when, as soon as I asked that question, your squirrel chasing ass would go down this rabbit hole. I was like, as soon as I asked,
it's 1,000% connected to the question you asked, but I digress. But I did go as the Powers of Pain one year with my best friend.
Did you?
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, I was a barbarian.
Isn't it? Yeah. Oh God, I'm gonna stop. Isn't it amazing how much trick or treating has changed over the years?
Oh,
like,
it's
not
sad.
what it used to be, right? Did you have any trick or treaters come to your house this year, Ryzin?
I had 4, and that was kind of a record for us. But we had 2 big bowls full. We were hoping for the best. I have a 12-foot skeleton out front, but it's gotten less and less. And I live in this house, bought and paid for. It's really sad because I wanted that. I wanted to be able to spoil kids and give them all the candy, all the stuff that I wasn't, but man, when I was coming up, I lived in apartment complexes. I hit every single apartment, bam, bam, bam. I had pillowcases after pillowcases full of candy. I was out all hours of the night, which is so crazy to think about today in this day and age that I was out all hours, but
and it was acceptable.
Absolutely.
You went out early, you stayed out late, you walked, you did your thing. And then, I relate to that, right? Because I don't celebrate many holidays, but I've gotten to a point in my life where I can become the big candy bar house, right? And I take great pride in that. No one ever comes.
The big candy bar house.
I'm the big candy bar house. I have worked my ass off, okay, to become the big candy bar house.
To get the full Snickers bar, not the treat Snicker bar.
Not the treat. I'm talking the big ones, right? Next year, damn it, I'm going king size, and I bet you word will get on the street. Somebody's got to come.
Word will get on the street is don't go to that man's house. He's really weird. He's giving out king size candy.
That weird dude.
What you trying to say?
Nobody ever comes and goes from that house. Oh, that is great. Anything you want to add to Ryzin? Anything you want to add with Teen Wolf?
Just the one thing I will say, and this should be fairly common knowledge, but you guys are aware at the very last scene after he hits the ball, they do the slow-mo and the crowd comes down and the one extra is exposed, right? Yeah.
Did you know that, Ruckus?
No, I didn't know that.
It's a video. You can look it up. A dude, Wang, is out of his boogies. He doesn't have them all the way down, right? He just has a zipper out, right?
And you can see he's trying to kind of fidget with it to maybe try to zip it up when he knows he's going to be on camera, but he can't. So they instruct all the extras to run down and celebrate his big victory. And boom, right in frame, his zipper is boop, wide open.
How have they not cut that out yet?
Why was his zipper open?
It's full of mystery. Every little bit of it is full of mystery. But
he was Wang Chungin. That's the only thing I can think of, right? I mean, it's you didn't know that?
No, I did not. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I also still think that Pamela is really attractive, even today. The blonde that he liked but didn't like him back. And I think the surfing scene is extremely iconic, and I love that scene as well.
Shout out to the stuntmen that performed that, because if anybody ever tried that today, it's blunt force trauma to the head. You know,
that's right.
And well,
no, but and again, like there was no way to CGI that or whatever. So however they did it. But as I said, as you guys could tell, it holds near and dear to my heart. I could probably go on the entire hour about it with little bits and pieces. I'm excited for Will to see the actual costume and stuff, but yeah, overall just an amazing film, even though Michael J. Fox himself doesn't really like it. So
Well, I'm going to text it to you right now.
All right, text me right now. And I'm going to need the editor to act like I'm surprised when I see this, right? Well, I will be surprised, but let's see here. All right, let's see here. Oh shit.
That's like next level.
That is next level. I can see why you won.
Isn't that crazy? I have to pull it up for myself so that I know what we're kind of talking about. But yeah, so, all of that, as I said, was basically bought secondhand except for the nose and the earpiece. The sleeves are actually a thrift store bought brown fur coat. Now, I will say that I got the jersey and the shorts made by the guy who was making my wrestling gear at the time. So he actually sewed them on real quick for me. Amazing. But everything else from even the bottom part and the top part are both like an Amish beard that I bought at the thrift store that I just glued with spirit gum here and here back, and then used the yellow bandana, or the yellow sweatband.
Well done.
The arms are what really got me, because you just don't realize how real it is. You keep looking at different parts. Yes, that might be one of the most badass Halloween costumes I've ever seen. Good for you. Well done.
Thank you. And as I said, on a complete budget, I had no money in my early 20s. So
what do you think you spent on that?
Less than 100 guaranteed. Probably 50, 60, and that would even be pushing it, to be completely honest with you.
And you won $1,000 prize.
You won, yeah.
Thankfully, and I paid for rent that month, and then I got evicted the next. So I was,
You should have.
I was like, I'm going to make it one more month, and then I'll get a job. I'll be a real, but it didn't work out in my favor. But either way, I paid for rent that month with that. So November walked in with the $1,000 check and was like, there we go. Rent's
that is
paid.
Amazing. A true story, Ruckus. In Ryzin, one year I was going on a date for a Halloween. It was a Halloween costume thing. I was going on a date with this smoking hot Polish girl, right? And I only had enough money to get dinner, not a costume. So I was sweating. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I don't have no idea. And then out of nowhere, a commercial came on for the Blue Man Group. I'm like, oh shit, I'm bald. I'm just going to go to Walmart, get some blue paint. But what my dumbass did was I bought acrylic paint, not costume paint. So it's cracking all over me and falling off in her food and everything. I was so embarrassed.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
If you're bald and on a budget, go as a Blue Man Group. It's like $5.
Yeah, so easy.
Get something for you to think
and
about.
Let your paint fall in her food.
Yeah, well,
that's right.
If you use costume paint, I think I don't know what's called, but costume paint. But anyway, that came out in 1985, August 23rd, 1985. And Ryzin, what we generally do on the show here is go through that week's top 40 with Casey Kasem every Sunday morning. What we like to do is go over the top 10. And what I'll do is I will read out the name of the song and the band and see if you can sing the song with Ruckus.
Yeah, so the way this will work is we'll give you the opportunity to sing it first, and then I'll jump in with you. If it's escaping you and I know it, I'll jump in. There will be a slight delay between the two of us, so if you start singing and I start singing behind you, I'll be on a delay. But don't worry about it because it'll all sound fine in the end.
It's not like you have to harmonize with each other. I don't even know why you bring that up.
Here.
All right. This is a 10 for 10 week. This is a 10 for 10. I get it. I get it. All right. Hey, Ryzin, can we do me a favor?
Yeah.
We're going to play a little game real quick.
No, we're not playing a 1, 2, 3 game. No.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
That doesn't work.
Oh, my God. All right. Ruckus, are you ready for some top 10?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
All right, Ryzin, let's go. Number 10, Heart. What about love?
What about love? Something that allowed you.
Don't you want somebody to care about you?
What about love?
Don't let it slip away. What about love?
This is
I only
brutal.
want to share it with you.
That's enough.
That's brutal.
He gets it. He gets one. He gets one on that.
I give him one. All right. Number 9. I believe this is a remake, and I think Hall & Oates actually originally did a song as well. I think. I could be wrong. Number 9, Paul Young, Every Time You Go Away.
Every time you go away.
Take a piece of me with you.
There we go.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right.
That's all I got.
That's all you need. That's all you need. And you did great there. All right, we got a good start here. Number 8, not a favorite of mine. I'm going to be honest with you. Number 8, Sting, the artist, not the wrestler. Sting, if you love somebody, set them free.
If you love somebody,
Free.
love someone,
Set them free.
set them free, please. Set.
Can't help you with that one. I'm
It's quite all
only a
right.
Surfer Sting fan or Crow Sting fan. I don't know anything about Leather Sting.
Sting.
That was Dingo Warrior partner Sting. So number 7. All right, Bryan Adams, Summer of '69.
Dun, dun. I bought my first real 6-string. Dun, dun.
The 5
Bought it at the 5 and dime. Played it till my fingers bled. It was the summer of '69.
Hey.
There you go. Nice. All right, number 6. I absolutely from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Absolutely love this movie, and I love this song. Tina Turner, We Don't Need Another Hero.
You know what's really bugging me about this is one of my all-time favorite bands is Ghost. I actually have Ghost tatted here, and they just covered that.
Did they?
Really?
I need to go check that out.
Amazing, and that's why I'm like, how could I not even remember?
We don't need another hero. Boom, boom.
We don't need another
Way home.
something. Yeah. But yeah, you got to listen to that. Anybody who's watching this, go and listen to the Ghost cover right now.
Amazing.
I'm very embarrassed that I could not sniff that one out because that whole new album that they released, just an EP, is all covers, and that's one of them.
Oh,
Wow.
Amazing.
I actually just saved it to my phone right now because I don't want to forget. That's you know what? Worth doing the show right there. Right there, just learning it. That's amazing. All right. Number 5. Oh, God bless. Number 5, Aretha Franklin, Freeway of Love.
When
Yeah,
you're riding on the freeway of love in a pink Cadillac.
You know what's so crazy about it is I catch on when you do it, but when you just tell me the name of a song, I'm like dumbfounded.
Sometimes it's not the title. It's sometimes the melody. It just unlocks the memory instantly.
That's right.
I'm going to be honest with you. When you first started talking at that moment, I thought you were going to tell me Ghost Reed did this one as well. I was like, oh, shit, I am into this album, man. Let's do it. All right.
I ain't ready for that.
Number 4, great movie, John Parr, St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion.
How did I know more of the 10 and up than I do these top 5s?
Yeah. Have you seen St. Elmo's Fire?
No.
Oh, okay. We got some homework for you then. We got some homework for you. All right.
St. Elmo's Fire, done.
Yeah, you got it. That's a staple from 80s movies. It's a staple. Directed by Joel Schumacher. All right, number 3.
You're not missing anything if you watch it, Ryzin. He asked me to watch it, and I thought it was horrible.
It's the
it was
epitome.
extremely pretentious.
Did you like Brat Pack? Pretentious? No, you saying pretentious comes across as extremely pretentious.
It was pretentious.
You self-righteous prick. Let's keep going. You ever talk about St. Elmo's Fire like that again? What the hell's wrong with you?
It's right up there with Running on Empty, you dirty bitch.
Number 3. Just here so I don't get sued. Number 3, Never Surrender by Corey Hart.
You never surrender. Never surrender.
Can I just say how highly unfair this is? Because, like, literally, Mikey is like, his life is engulfed in music. It's his literal job to know this stuff.
Yet he doesn't know the words to all these songs. I actually know the words to all these. I have to feed him the words. It's amazing, isn't it? The music man doesn't know songs.
I know the melody.
I feel it, man. I feel the melody, dude.
It's the melody. That's one thing that you can't carry.
Oh, no, I can't carry a tune either.
No.
You know, Ryzin, I don't know if you know this or not, but I used to be able to sing, and I got throat cancer, and it took my voice away.
Don't you dare.
And he picks on me all the time because of it, which I don't think that's fair at all.
I pick on you about your keyboard.
It's true. I did have throat cancer. But... All right, number 2.
It hurt really bad.
Number 2. That's where the salty voice comes from. Number 2, Tears for Fears. The worst of them all. Shout.
That's not the worst.
Shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. So come on.
That's a heavy metal version. I like it.
I'm doing the Disturbed cover. I guess I only know these by covers.
It's all good. You're missing out on that amazing keyboard solo that Will tried to learn and never could get it right.
Mikey, you know what? We did this show on Twitch, and I sang and had keyboards, and it was mesmerizing.
He Milli Vanilli that.
We did. What was it? Making Love Out of Nothing at All. We had keyboards set up. I was fake playing them, and I I shouldn't say hired, strong word. A buddy of mine who had just cut a track for Ruckus for Kip Sabian's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kip
nice.
Sabian's, he lives right down the road from me. He's a buddy of mine. That's how he met Mikey. He came over and he sang, and I lip synced him singing right beside me. But Ruckus sniffed it out just like that. He
the
knew
lengths that he goes.
That's
All right, number one. We have already sang this song in the show, which is kind of amazing. That's the first time this has ever happened.
No, we sang the Sting song in the show before too.
Number 1. Yes, just
if everybody had an ocean.
I'll take it.
That's great. That's 10 for 10 right there. Number 1, Huey Lewis in the News, The Power of Love.
That is the power of love.
Oh, that
Power of love. Can you feel it?
That brings us to the top 10 of 1985.
Good job, Ryzin.
Thank you. I got half, maybe, I don't know, C minus, C plus.
For not being around during that time, I thought you did very well.
You did great.
In all honesty.
Did great.
Yeah.
I mean, are really those songs, should those really be in a top 10, to be honest? Some of those very valid.
In August 24th of 1985, yes, they should be in the top 10. But like top 10 of all time, probably not. No. Except for, I have to go back and look. There was a couple there. All right. If you want, I'll give you 1989s. We can go through somebody else's. We'll keep going. All right. That year,
I don't think anybody wants to hear me sing continuously.
Everybody wants to hear you sing, okay? The number of toys that came out that year were great, right? And normally we go through pop culture, but we've hit 1985 pretty hard, right? We now know that Coke and the new Coke was a disaster that year, right? Mm-hmm. What I'd like to do is go through a couple of toys and just see if you had them and if any of them resonate with you, okay? I'm going to pick some of these. Number 7, hottest toy of 1985 was Atari 2600.
So I didn't really start getting into video games until the Nintendo, so the regular Nintendo. So I never really played an Atari until my later years, and then just Pong and Pitfall are the two I remember.
Yeah, it's not that great. All right, number 6, G.I. Joe, a real American hero.
Had them all. I had the vehicles, I had everything, and the current version of my wrestling character, even though I'm like evil and devilish, I become the commander of the congregation, and a lot of that is actually Cobra Commander inspired.
Wow. Love it.
So because you could be a funny heel, you could, and then when things don't go right, you could be up in arms about it. So there's a lot of crossover there. But yep, had all the G.I. Joes for sure.
Did we just get behind the scenes info?
Yes. Great backstory.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Were you one of the lucky ones that had the aircraft carrier?
So no, I had a bunch of the vehicles, but for some reason, all the Snowcat type ones seemed to pop up in my head of things I had. I didn't have the carrier, and then as far as big kind of contraptions, take up
somebody's whole entire bedroom.
Right, and as far as big type things, I had a Gray Skull for He-Man. I don't know if you're going to bring that one up, but I did have that whole Gray Skull. So that was the biggest toy per se that I think I had.
And I was going to ask you, Ruckus, if you actually had the carrier. That's funny. That's what I was about to ask.
I did not. And there's actually a meme that's circulating online currently. It says today, this marks year 38 that I still haven't gotten the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier.
I saw that. All right. So in that year, Back to the Future obviously came out in 1905, as we talked about earlier, which made skateboards extremely hot that year. Mm-hmm. Were you a skateboarder growing up?
I didn't become a skater until my late middle school, early high school, and was just trying to find the crowd that I would fit into. And so we were skaters, and I always skateboard goofy-footed. With my right foot in front of the board and pedaling with my left, and then I turn to the left. So completely goofy foot. Same. Not a good skater, and can't do a kickflip even. Couldn't do an ollie, to be completely honest with you. So terrible skater.
I'm sorry to hear that. All right.
I'm not.
Number
Will,
2.
wait a minute. You just glossed over that. Did you skate, Will?
So I glossed over that for
not roller skating. Did you have a skateboard?
As we all know that I did take roller skating lessons and I had a partner and everything. But with that being said, so in middle school,
I didn't know that. Skate with a skateboard.
No. So
and that explains the head trauma.
You need to shut the fuck up. In middle school, I actually had the long hair down to my waist and the leather jacket and the black boots and the Metallica T-shirts and the Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses. And we didn't like the skaters. Okay. That was like
so you hung out at the convenience store across the street from the school every morning smoking cigarettes with everybody.
Yes. I was the kid with the long hair that yes. So ironically enough, as years went on, we'd grow up and stuff like that, became really good friends with a lot of those guys who I quote unquote didn't like in middle school. So no, I did not skateboard. I could not be caught. If I was caught on a skateboard, my crew would beat the shit out of me. It was tough, mean streets of Chester, Virginia. God bless. So number 2 that year, one of Ruckus's all-time favorite, if not his all-time favorite, Transformers. Optimus Prime was huge that year. Do you have any Transformers?
Very few, and another one of those that I missed the boat on. I had He-Man, I had G.I. Joe, I got into pro wrestling, had every Hasbro figure. Didn't really care too much for Transformers, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow. All right. And we'll just go to number 1 because we already know you like Transformers. We'll skip right over that. Number 1, every kid in America had one of these. Parents were beating the shit out of each other for these toys. I had one. Ruckus had one. And
I did not have one. I already know where you're going.
Did you have one? And that is Xavier's Robert's Cabbage Patch dolls.
I did not have a Cabbage Patch doll. Nope, and I don't think I had any interest whatsoever in Cabbage Patch dolls. I had the the wrestling buddies. That was the closest thing to like a doll per se. But no Cabbage Patch Kids.
I had one. I'm proud of it. R.I.P. Chester. I hope you're good up there. Okay. So, all right. That brings us out of 1985, Ruckus. We're all here for the main event. What is that?
Prior to this is the co-main event. Co-main event is Show and Tell, a segment where we allow our guests to bring on something that's near and dear to them. It could be anything from their past. So kind of liken this to when you were in school and you had Show and Tell on Fridays in class. The teacher said if you brought anything for Show and Tell, get in line, come up front, share with the class. So, Ryzin, what do you have for us this week?
I really had to rack my brain on this because I'm not much of a guy for nostalgia, as much as you would think. So anything I do have is probably up in an attic somewhere. So I really had to rack my brain. And this is actually a most recent prized possession. But there's a lot of backstory to it that I'm happy to share with you guys. But this here is a plate that says, I had dinner with Gene Simmons.
Oh my God. Will just passed out. Will just passed out sitting up.
So from May 7th of 2023, so just, as I said, very recent, but a lifelong goal. If you were to ever ask me what's one celebrity that you would ever want to meet, I don't get starstruck. I think that I've had my fair share of rub elbows with celebrities and things like that. But if there was ever one person, it was Gene Simmons through and through. And it was something that I was able to finally achieve. So the plate from dinner.
Tell me about the dinner. Tell me about, what did he say? What did he smell like? Did y'all talk? Tell me everything.
So this gentleman, Matthew Robles, so I'll try to keep this condensed, but so this gentleman, Matthew Robles, he actually does managing on the Independence as well. Big Kiss fan as well. He lives out of like Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Utah area. And he knew that I was a big Kiss fan. And for years, he's known that if I had one ambition, one goal, one dream, it was to meet Gene Simmons. And the reason why Gene Simmons is so important to my life is not probably the reason you think. I love Kiss through and through. Absolutely. Big Kiss fan, huge Kiss fan, but it's more his business acumen, and it's the way that he took Kiss from a band to a brand. And I've read all of his business books. I have literally patterned my wrestling career after Gene Simmons. So, as you can see, I trademarked my own symbol, and you can see that it's everywhere, just like he has everything from Kiss condoms to Kiss caskets. He'll get you coming and he'll get you going. I really have patterned my wrestling career after him. So really it was from just an overall business / mentor standpoint that he was my number one guy. So I went to meet him so he actually was coming here. He opened up a Rock and Brews in Orlando, which is where I'm from. And he was offering a dinner with him and Paul. But I was actually in Las Vegas, ironically, when they announced that. So I wasn't able to be there, even though Rock and Brews is right down the road from my house. Fast forward a little bit, I went to Vegas. So ironically, went back to Vegas to meet him because this gentleman, Matthew Robles, bought the Kiss or the Gene Simmons vault, which had like all this memorabilia. So that got him in the door to meet Gene +1, and I was his +1. Very kind of him to do so. I was there. It was around Christmas. We were like literally the next in line to go meet, and his publicist comes out and says, there's been a family emergency. Gene Simmons has just left the building. Unfortunately, there will be no meet and greet today. So I was heartbroken in Las Vegas, and then I thought, well, maybe it's never going to happen. But fast forward to just this past year, and he had caught wind. He did it. I mean, that guy does everything. Kiss cruises, Kiss everything. So he is dialed in, and he had heard from a birdie, the tour manager, or that just for Gene specifically, that he was going to do a very intimate giveaway of all of his stuff from his house. So if you've ever seen Gene's house, he had a whole room dedicated to Kiss. But he's like, when I die, I don't need it anymore. And they moved. So he's been giving that collection to like the highest bidders and the highest collectors. So long story short, or, long story long, I guess, I was his plus one, and he got to keep all the collectible items, and it must have cost him a fortune in order to do that. But we got a private concert. There was probably only 50 of us in total in that room where he got to perform. He had Bruce Kulick there. He had, just a bunch of different members. Eric Singer was on drums. So anyway, just a very intimate environment in a little hotel conference room. Played a little intimate concert for us, and then we got a meet and greet. And the cool thing is, I got to talk to him all about business. And then that night, we went and were able to have dinner at the steakhouse at the Rio. And again, he just went from table to table, one appetizer here, one, dessert here, dinner here. And it's just the beauty of just being able to sit down and talk to him about something other than Kiss. I think he appreciated. And he also sought me out because, and I'm sure his publicist told him this, but he saw so dinner was the next day. I apologize. But that night, the first night I met him, I did a long-winded post on Instagram about, I just met Gene, and he was everything that I wanted him to be and all that. And so he actually sought me out and sat with me and was like, I just wanted to tell you that I read what you wrote about me, and I really appreciate everything you said. So, so that was kind of my validation that I got from him. But just sitting there and being able to shoot shit with him. And again, I don't get starstruck. And even with him, as much as I was excited to meet him and just wanted to word vomit everything I could to him, he was still just somebody that I just wanted to ultimately say, thank you for being some sort of guide in my life. And he's a great person. And we have a lot of similarities too. He doesn't drink, smoke, or do drugs. He left that part out of his rock and roll lifestyle. And I've never done any of those things either, so we also had that to talk about. Lots of cool stuff like that. So
that's an amazing story. That's probably one of the best stories that we've had on here.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well,
I don't know if you know, I'm a huge Kiss fan. So like big time, right?
Oh, well, look at that.
Oh yeah. So that's what. Yeah. That's what. Yes.
I'm like, hey, you could only get one thing signed by Gene. I was like, Gene, I have your tattoo. Sign right there, and I literally walked right upstairs and got it tattooed.
Right upstairs, got tattooed. And I say there's two people I want to meet in this world, right? One is Gene Simmons, and the other one's Eddie Vedder, right? I meet those two people, and I would be happy. So thank you for sharing that story.
Yes,
that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, and Ruckus, are we ready for table reads or what, man?
Yes, man. But actually, I got my Kiss cherry popped when Will took me to see Kiss at the Richmond Coliseum.
I took him to his first Kiss show and lost my wallet. Missed the first 5 songs, found that son of a bitch in between my seat the whole time. I had to go downstairs, cancel all my credit cards, all my work cards. I was so pissed. It was in the seat. This son of a bitch didn't even look. He didn't even look for the God blessed wallet.
I didn't even know where you went.
Blame him? He was enjoying his first Kiss experience.
That's true. He was. And it was amazing. You don't even have to
what I have to deal with?
Yeah, absolutely.
He wants to blame me for everything.
You don't even have to like Kiss music to enjoy a Kiss.
Forget your wallet. Worry about it after Kiss.
Well, I was more worried about the company credit cards. That's what scared me. Like, Will, can you explain to me why? And just go down the list of things that should be on that company
Gene
card.
Simmons and Teen Wolf and
Why is there a $300 charge at Mandy's Asian Massage Palace? Can you explain that to me? Yeah, that's what I didn't want on my credit card, so I was a little worried. So anyway, let's get to table reads, Ruckus.
Well, all right, guys.
Come back and focus too, man. Damn.
Something happened there. Hey everyone, this is Mikey Ruckus here to tell you about a brand new segment coming to the BKRR Show, Beat the Ruckus, where you send in your nostalgia questions to see if I know them, which I probably don't. And if you beat the Ruckus, you win a prize. You can send your questions into the email thebkrrshow@gmail.com with the subject line, Beat the Ruckus. Good luck. All right, guys, you know what we do every week is Wacky Table Reads, the feature segment on our show where we have our guests send us a list of their favorite comedies just off the top of their head. And Keeping It Will and I choose 2 surprise scenes from those lists of comedies. So this week we are doing 2 special scenes, the first of which is The Wedding Singer, the bar scene where Sammy and Robbie are kind of having a little bit of a moment of clarity. Robbie realizes that he really screwed up with Julia. Sammy gives him some great life advice. And then the second scene is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where Clark and Eddie are in his living room. Eddie is decided to visit unannounced. First scene up, The Wedding Singer. Adam Sandler is Robbie Hart, wedding singer who has fallen for Julia Gulia, to bride-to-be.
That's funny.
Yeah. Why is that funny?
I don't know. That is, let me just be honest. That is, I will die on this hill. This is Adam Sandler's best movie. I don't care what people say. To hell with Happy Gilmore. To hell with
I'd sign
Madison.
for that. I'd sign for that.
Great movie. Great movie.
I don't think you're off there.
So Robbie is down in the dumps, sitting at the bar. His best friend Sammy decides to drop by and kind of give him a pick-me-up. So narrating and playing the role of the old man, because that works for him, is Keeping It Will. I will be playing the role. I will be playing the role of Robbie Hart, and Sammy will be played by Ryzin. All right.
Wait a minute. Why is he not Robbie? Why is he not Adam Sandler?
Because Robbie's down in the dumps, and the star of this scene is Sammy. So Ryzin is the star of the scene. This is Sammy's moment in the movie.
I was really hoping for the old man.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Come on. By the way, before you even ask, I have no questions, comments, or concerns. I'm ready to go.
All right. So here we go. The Wedding Singer, Keeping It Will. You ready?
You son of a bitch, I just told you I was ready.
Ryzin, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Keep in mind, we have not rehearsed this at all, so whatever happens, happens. The Wedding Singer, 3, 2, 1, scene.
Robbie realizes that he has screwed up with Julia and decides to go drown his sorrows at the bar. Sammy meets up with him to give him the best friend pep talk.
What's up?
There he is.
You all right?
You know something? You were right, man. You've always been right.
What have I been so right about?
Women, you just have fun with them. You get emotionally involved and they end up, what do they do to you?
They rip your heart out of your ass.
Why do you sound like a leprechaun?
Why do you sound like
rip your heart out of your ass?
You sound like Matthew McConaughey on depression pills. What are you talking about? Keep going.
That's right.
Did something happen with Julia?
Oh, went on a double date, right? And the moron she's going to marry actually tells me he cheats on her. But can I tell her? No. I mean, who am I to break up a marriage?
You need a prostitute.
Anyways, I'm confused.
Well, because you like her.
I think I'm in love with her. But I got to get that out of my head, From now on, I'm going to be like you. I'm going to be with a different chick every night. And then send them packing like Keeping It Will does.
Sounds like you got it all figured out.
I mean, I'm gonna have to give him cab money to go home because I feel bad, but if I don't, but after that, it's bye birdie.
Bye.
That's it, man. Starting right now, me and you are gonna be free, happy the rest of our lives.
I'm not happy. I'm miserable.
What?
See, I grew up idolizing guys like Fonzie and Vinnie Barbarino because they got a lot of chicks. You know what happened to Fonzie and Vinnie Barbarino?
I mean, I read that Fonzie wants to be a director, and Barbarino, I think, Mechanical Bull movie. I didn't see it yet.
Their shows got canceled because no one wants to see a 50-year-old dude hitting on chicks.
Keeping It Will. What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, all I really want is someone to hold me and tell me that everything's going to be all right.
Everything's going to be all right.
If you found someone you can love, you can't let her get away.
You're right, man. Thank you, Sammy.
Robbie is now motivated to win Julie over and starts to head out. And Sammy had to leave him with one last bit of advice.
Don't tell anybody what I said.
And see.
That one hit home a little too close. I don't know, man.
Will's going to go cry in the corner after this is over.
The old man, I do some of his lines like, sounds like a country song. But then I realized that my old man voice from Wedding Singer is the same as my John Laurinaitis voice when I'm mimicking him.
Or Dauber from Coach. They're all the same,
So it's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's, hey, little girl, want some candy?
Whoa.
That's that type of voice.
Let me read the Bella twins' mother.
Yeah, there you go.
Power.
Keep it positive. Ruckus to get to a dark place, man.
Just following the footsteps of Keeping It Will. All right, Next scene up is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Eddie and family surprise Clark Griswold at their house. Eddie is Clark's brother-in-law. And the first interaction between the two inside of the house is a sight to behold. So narrating will be Keeping It Will. Yep. I will be playing the role of Clark Griswold and playing the role of Eddie. Do what?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
Keep going.
He's putting himself over, getting the lead.
I mean, it's. Let's see here. Who was the lead in Wedding Singer? Adam Sandler. Who's the lead in Chris?
It has to do with the star of that particular scene. This is Eddie's first time on the screen, so Eddie is the star of the scene. It's easy to play Clark Griswold in this situation, but this is a situation where
sure you'll find a way
Eddie
to f it up too.
Front.
Let's keep going. Come on, man.
So, all right, here we go. Keeping It Will, you ready? Christmas Vacation. Keeping It Will, you ready?
No, I need to take a pee break.
We're falling off the rail. You need to hold your teacup bladder.
The teacup. All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Ryzin, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Christmas Vacation. 3, 2, 1, scene.
After all the trials and tribulations that Clark endured, miraculously the Christmas lights are activated. While the family stands on the front lawn, Clark begins hugging all the family members, one by one.
Somebody typed this too fast.
I did.
And he's dumbfounded that his brother-in-law, Eddie, has arrived uninvited. After initial shock, everyone heads inside, and Clark and Eddie have a catch-up over some eggnog.
That's a honey of a tree, Clark. Is it real?
Yeah. I dug it out of the ground myself.
Is that a fact?
Eddie's dog, Sloppy, begins to drink the water from the tree base.
Hey, get out of here. Snots. No.
Don't worry about it, Clark. Little tree water ain't going to hurt him. Before we left, he drank a half a quart of Pennzoil. Boy, when he lifted his leg the next morning, whoo!
Eddie, if he drinks the water, the tree's going to dry up. Come on, get out of here.
Schnots, out. Get out of there. Get in the kitchen now. Get in there and get you a little something to eat. Go on. He's cute, ain't he? Only problem is he's got a bit of Mississippi leg hound in him. The mood catches him right. He'll grab your leg and just go to town. Don't want him around if you're wearing short pants. If you know what I mean. A word of warning, though. If he does lay into you, it's best to just let him finish.
I can't believe you're actually standing here in my living room, Eddie. Never thought the day would come.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. It's a crying shame the older kids couldn't make it.
Eddie starts fooling around with some of the decorations on the end of the table. He touches one and it collapses in a heap. Clark is highly annoyed. Bubba does his best to keep his cool.
I'll get that. Don't worry about it. Let me get it.
Yeah, I got the daughter in a clinic getting cured off the wild turkey. And the older boy, bless his soul, is preparing for his career.
College?
Carnival.
You got to be proud.
Eddie is now cracking walnuts and making a wondrous mess of things.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, last season he was a pixie dust spreader on the tilt-a-whirl. He thinks maybe next year he'll be guessing people's weight or barking for the yak woman. You ever see her?
No.
Yeah, she's got these big horns growing right out of her ears. Yeah, she's ugly as sin, but sweet gal, and a hell of a good cook.
Can I refill your eggnog or get you something to eat and drive you out in nowhere, leave you for dead?
No, I'm doing just fine, Clark. Just glad to be here.
Yeah, so when did you get the tenement on wheels?
Oh, that there? That's an RV. Yeah, I borrowed it off of a buddy of mine. He took my house, I took the RV. Good looking vehicle, ain't it?
Yeah, it looks so nice parked in the driveway.
Yeah, it sure does. But don't you go falling in love with it now, because we're taking it with us when we leave here next month.
And scene!
Oh, okay. Your Eddie was great. I'm just gonna say it right now. You were the star of that scene.
Don't you ever question my judgment again, keeping it Will.
Oh, I know what you're
I know what I'm doing.
Ryzin just rose above what you put him in, and he made it his, and I respect that.
Rising
Thank
above,
you.
you might say.
Yes, that absolutely.
See, I can see into the future, and I believe in those that rise above.
I'll drink to that.
Good. Ryzin!
That was awesome. That was really fun.
That was fun. That was fun.
Ryzin, take a minute, tell everybody where you're at these days, where they can find you. Anything that you want to get off your chest, let them know what you're up to. The floor is yours.
Oh, boy. I don't think we have enough time for that. No, but, again, thank you guys for having me. This has been amazing and absolutely incredible experience. Thank you for letting me share my stories about Gene Simmons and just all of the great things and taking me down memory lane. I love Teen Wolf. Shout out to Christmas Vacation, the all-time best Christmas movie. And where you can find me is on all of my major social media. So X, I guess you would call it now. Hail Ryzin. Instagram at Hail Ryzin. You can find me on Facebook. You have a Ryzin fan page. Pro Wrestling Tees /Ryzin to get all of your latest Ryzin t-shirts. And I stay completely consistent on the independents, so you could always see me at a show near you. And if you don't see me at a show near you, well, then it's time that you beg your local promoters or I don't know. I'll even work a carnival, evidently. So I'll do whatever you ask of me. I can ordain weddings. Just ask, Matt and Rebby. I can do it all. So whatever it is you need, you should be able to find me. But I keep everybody up to date on all of those social media. And for those who have followed my stuff in AEW when I was there during the pandemic era, thank you guys for that as well. And shout out to Mikey for making that banger of an Amen theme song, which still near to my heart for being the elite. So, those are pretty much those main bullet points.
Awesome. Well, listen, Ryzin, we appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for taking the time to share those stories that you shared with us this evening. You're an amazing individual. You are always welcome on the show. And hey, man, a driven Ryzin is a deadly Ryzin, and we very much love to see you being driven. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Ryzin.
Awesome. Thank you.